Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kim and today we're going through my April wrap up. Grab yourself a drink as this is going to take a while. This month I took part in Orilium, which is part of the magical readathon world created by G over at Book Roast. I'll leave a link to her channel down below, go and check her out, she's brilliant. Basically for this, we create our own character and we take our character to school to study classes for our calling. My character is Runica and she is studying to be a dreamwalker. Let's go through some stats for this month, shall we? This month I managed to read 18 books. I read a total of 6,550 pages. So not my best month at Orilium, but not bad. That averages out to 218 pages per day. How? For star ratings, I gave out 1 1-star, 7 3-star, 5 4-star, and 5 5-star this month. This averaged out to 3.72 for the month. So let's go through what I actually read this month, shall we? Let's pop over to Past Kim, who can start this one for me. So the first book that I managed to finish this month was for alchemy class, and for this we needed a book that had capital letters in the title. I also managed to get this on for the Rory Gilmore Book Club book, the prompt for that being a classic. I picked up The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Now, I can see why people love this, but I don't think it was wholly for me. Mainly because we're supposed to be reading about this guy, Jay Gatsby, and it was more about this guy, Tom. And it didn't read like I wanted it to. So I got 3 stars. The next class that I passed this month was law. And for this we needed a musical term in the title. I also managed to get this on for a book book. I picked up The Bell Witches by Lindsay Kelk. This is the beautiful Lock Library edition. Beautiful edge and papers and that Lock Library spine. This, again, I had high hopes. But for most of it I was bored. So sadly, this beautiful book only got 3 stars. The next one that I picked up was for Artificery class. This we needed to take the hour in which we watched the announcement video and change it either into the number of letters in the title or number of words in the title. So because I watched it about 9:10 in the evening, I took the 9, which gave me 9 letters. So for this, it's also another BookBox book, but I can't find my copy. For this I picked up Godkiller. Another one that I had extreme high hopes for. This is hyped left, right and centre all over BookTube, BookTok, you name it, people love it. For me, it fell a little flat. But I have since heard that the next one in the series is a lot better than this one, so I will continue on with this series. But for me, this got 3 stars. The next class that I passed was Psionics and Divination, and for the prompt for this, we needed to read a book with either witches or the occult in. So I picked up The Blood of Elves. This is part of the Witch universe. This is the first in the series, but fourth if you read the standalones first, or the prequels first. But yeah, Blood of Elves, I absolutely loved this. I loved being back in the world with Geralt the Witcher, with Dandelion and Yennefer and Ciri, even Ciri, and being Kia Moran, I absolutely ate this up. Loved it. It got 4 stars. The next class I passed was Conjuration. For this we needed a random country generator to generate us a country. I used one. It gave me Argentina, so for that reason I picked up Tender is the Flesh. And I'm glad I did. This was spooky and gory and I loved this book. And I need more from this author. So for me, this got 4 stars. The next one was a bonus class for me in shapeshifting. For this we needed a dragon on the cover, a dragon in the title, or a dragon in the story. So for me I picked up the next book in the How to Train Your Dragon series, How to Be a Pirate. There is a dragon on this cover, so it counts. And I'm glad that I did. Even though this is a kid's book, It took me on an adventure. It took me out of my own head. Loved this. 4 stars. The next class was another bonus for me in restoration. For this we needed a 4-star average or higher wherever you get your books. So be it Barnes & Noble, it could be Goodreads, Storygraph, Amazon, it could be anywhere, as long as it's a 4-star average or higher. So for this, I decided to pick up one that has been hyped so many times, and one that I needed to get to sooner rather than later because I've been putting it off. It is Babel, 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 and it is Babel. It is. This is the stunning Illumicrate. That's upside down. Stunning Illumicrate edition. And although I didn't get along with this and I don't really see the hype, I'm not getting rid of this because this is beautiful. But it, like so many others, to me, this read like a textbook. It read like a textbook, and like we had references at the bottom, and it's like, it's just so not what I was expecting. So Babel got 3 stars. The next one was another bonus class for me in Inscription. For this we needed to read the first sentence of 3 different books and choose the one that drew us in the most. So for me, another BookBox book, Crimson Moth by Kristen Cicarelli, or Cicarelli. I can't remember how they pronounce it. It might be Cicarelli. But yeah, gorgeous Fairy Loot edition. Stunning artwork. Beautiful book. And I'm glad that I picked this up and I went with that first sentence because, my gosh, I loved this. Absolutely adored these characters and cannot wait for the next in the series. And I did just pre-order it like yesterday, so it's on its way to me. Sadly not until the end of the year, but it's on its way to me. This, 5 stars. The next class is another bonus in Elemental Studies, and for this we needed fruit on the cover, and it counts. The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. There is fruit on this cover. I don't know whether Grady Hendrix is for me or not because I was bored. Vampires didn't really show up until quite far into this, and it was just like housewives. I don't want to read about housewives. I wanted to read about vampires and slaying vampires, and you know, it's book club slaying vampires, and it's not what I got. So unfortunately, 3 stars. The next class I passed was Art of Illusion, and for this we needed a book that we were already planning to read this month. So for me, I picked up my In Real Life Book Club book. I picked up Missing You by Harlan Coben, and I'm glad I did. This was so twisty and just drew me in from the first pages. I absolutely loved this. This is a win from Harlan. It got 4 stars. The next class I passed was Spells and Incantations. For this we needed to take the book that we were reading at the time of the announcement video, take the words from that title and find 1 or 2 in another title from another book. So for me at the time I was reading Deep End. So for this I picked up Restaurant at the End of the Universe. It counts. It's got end in the title. This is the second book in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I loved this. This was so weird and wonderful, and I couldn't stop turning pages. So for me, 4 stars. The next one, because I already passed Alchemy, this is another bonus. It is another in Alchemy, which is all capital letters in the title, because at the time I was craving some smut, as you do. So I had decided to pick up an ARC that I'd received. I picked up Relentless Interloper. Yeah, not a good one. This needs to go all the way back to the beginning and start again with writing, I think. And I don't say that very often, if at all. This was not good. The fact that the first couple of pages started out with sexual assault, and then you could tell all the way through the book that she just didn't want this person near her. and yet he kept on pestering her. I didn't like it. It got 1 star. The next one is for astronomy, and for this we needed to spin a colour wheel, in which I got blue. So glad that I did, because it meant that I got to pick up the latest Alice Feeney. Beautiful, ugly. And the twists in this, when you get to the end and you find out there's a hidden bit all the way through it, and it's like, the characters were just so likeable, and once again, Alice Feeney, 5 stars. Everything that I've read from Alice Feeney so far has got 5 stars. Cannot get enough of this author. I cannot wait to read whatever she writes next. There is like 1 or 2 in her back catalogue I've still got to pick up, and I can't wait. 5 stars. Pick it up if you can. And with this, I managed to finish my calling for this year. All the classes that I required, that I needed for my calling, a Mindwalker, I passed with this. I'm so happy. 1 more semester to go and I am fully qualified as a Mindwalker. Can't wait. So everything from now on is bonus, right? The next bonus was for animal studies, which we had to steal something from somebody else's TBR. I stole this from Deb from DG Reads. It was Bunny by Mona Award. I can see why it's hyped, but for me at the time, I was listening to it audibly because I couldn't get a physical copy. I have a problem with sound sometimes, in where repetition just really irritates my head. So constantly hearing the word bunny drove me insane. So maybe if I was reading this physically, it would be different. Maybe if I was reading this at a different time, it would be different. But for me, this was just irritating, and it got 3 stars. The next one that I read was for the Aldia Challenge, which is a monthly challenge. We have a map that we need to go through this year. It's part of the Orilium world, part of the Magical Readathon world. And this month's prompt led me to the word river in the title. So for that reason, I didn't really hold out much high hopes, but I picked up The River Murders by James Patterson. And I'm glad that I did. I didn't know I hadn't read the back or anything. It was just, it had river in the title, and I've read James Patterson before, so I picked it up. I didn't realise this was a set of 3 short stories. Usually short stories don't really do it all that much for me. You know, they get a 3, maybe a 4 at a push. This got 4 stars because these were really entertaining, and I absolutely loved Mitchum, who is our detective, not detective. You know, he's not an actual detective. He's kind of like the town's private investigator who is not actually licensed to be a private investigator. So I guess you could just call him a nosy neighbour, kind of. But I loved him. So this also got 4 stars. And now we go to Future Kim. I'm going to go through the last few books that I managed to finish this month. The first one being for Leyline Conductor, which is prompted to have either a train on the cover or a train in the title. So for this, I decided to pick up the next book in the Adventures on Train series. I picked up Kidnap on the California Comet. That is a train on the cover. It counts. This, I had fun with this. This was an adventure. I loved it. I loved the mystery element. I loved the little illustrations all throughout the book. They just add to the story. I loved the characters. I loved being back with Hal. So this got 5 stars. The next one was a bonus class in demonology. This was to have a book with missing people in it. So I picked up Just Another Missing Person by Gillian McAllister. For me, this was a little bit too slow. The characters were okay, story was okay, and it took a while to get through this one. So this got 3 stars. And the final book that I read this month was for Impling Sitter. For this, we needed to have an animal familiar in the book. So for this, I finally picked up a book that everybody loves. I picked up Kiki's Delivery Service, and I'm glad that I did. Kiki and Gigi on an adventure, absolutely loved it. I need more from these characters. This got 5 stars. And that is everything that I read in April. What do you think? Are there any books based on what I've read that you would recommend me? Let me know down below. But that is my wrap up. As always, down in my description box, you can find a link to all of my socials. Come give me a follow on Goodreads on Instagram, on X and on Storygraph. You can like this video, you can comment and you can subscribe if you want to. Want to let me know you're here without actually talking to me? Leave me the train emoji and I'll see you next time. Toodles.